So recently Pinkie Pie was chosen to be an ambassador of friendship to Yakyakistan. She went to Yakyakistan and got to participate in a Yakyakistanian ceremony that involved the smashing of small logs. And then she got to take a tour of the inside of Yakyakistan and see various huts where the Yaks do eating and sleeping and listening to music and telling stories. While participating in the various events, the Yaks accidentally trigger an avalanche and the entire city is buried under a huge pile of snow. The Yaks try to dig their way out of the snow, but more snow falls off of the mountains. Pinkie Pie suggests getting help and the Yaks deny her. She keeps trying to ask the Yaks to let her get her friends to help and they keep telling her no. After being fed up with the entire situation, Pinkie goes behind the Yak's back and brings the ponies help to Yakyakistan and sort of sneaks around, allowing the Yaks to think that the snow melted on its own. But when the prince realizes that Pinkie Pie helped without his permission, he thanks her and says that she understands Yaks because she didn't force them to ask for help. Not a whole lot to say about this one. Not really a whole lot of anything new happened. Sure, we got to see inside of Yakyakistan and we got to see some of the Yaks' customs, but it was all the same stuff we learned about them from the last time they showed up. And basically it was just a Yaks are stubborn, Pinkie Pie wants to help. Yaks are stubborn, Pinkie Pie wants to help. Over and over again until Pinkie finally went behind the Yak's back and cleaned the snow up without them realizing it. We did get to see a little bit of how Prince Rutherford's word is law, whether his subjects want to go through with it or not. And it seems apparent that sometimes they may actually disagree with him but are afraid to go against his orders, and that Yaks just sort of do whatever the prince says, and the prince will continue to do Yak traditions whether they're practical or not. He's just simply too prideful to ask for help and wants help to be given to him without him having to ask for it. So this comes down to a couple of thoughts. One being that if someone is from a different culture, maybe you have to learn something about their culture, and instead of presenting things to the other culture the way you're used to, start doing things the way the other culture works. This whole too proud to ask for help thing could simply be a cultural difference that Pinkie Pie simply had to learn, and that the right thing to do was to offer aid when it's not really being asked for. On the other hand, we have the moral of learning when your culture isn't working for your people and realizing that you need to change how you do things and that you have to learn to adapt and grow and try something a little bit different. There really isn't a whole lot for me to say about this, even after several days of sitting around thinking about it. Every time I think of Yakyakistan, I always think of those episodes of Aladdin. They're on the Aladdin TV series from the Disney afternoon. There was this race of people who were barbarians, and they had the same personality and culture as the Yakyatistans, to a point at least. But to put this in more realistic perspective, I sort of related Yakyatistan to some of the third world countries that America always sends financial aid to. It seems that we're always giving food and money and charity to some country somewhere where their people are suffering and too poor to help themselves, and they need the extra money and food from the more wealthy countries to help their people get through the hard times. And there's sort of a question raised there. Is it better to give people handouts and keep giving them handouts and keep on being responsible for helping them through all of their hard times? Or is it better to teach them a new way of life and have them learn how to help themselves? That's really the only point of debate that I can get out of this one. Sorry for the short episode, but really after days of thinking about this, I really haven't thought of anything else to point out. It was a little bit of world building, but I don't think any fans were asking for the Yaks to return. The episode didn't give us anything truly new to enjoy. It was the same old stuff that we already knew about the Yaks. And while there were some fun moments, overall I feel things really didn't go any place, and this is one that you could skip and not miss anything of it. Certainly not a bad or horrible episode, just a kind of boring one for me personally. Anyhow, thank you for watching, and good night.